On this week's edition of the Overtime, we are getting a look at NAU men's basketball's newest additions. Next, we will have the opportunity to meet NAU women's tennis double partners who have a history beyond just here in Flagstaff. All that and more on this edition of the Overtime. Welcome back to the Overtime. My name is Kristen Chancellor, and joining me tonight is Michael Manny. Michael, how are you doing?
Thanks, Kristen. Just excited to be back for one last ride on the show with you.
I agree. A dynamic duo from England both came to NAU to play the sport they love the most, tennis. After Mimi Bland made the jump to play for the Lumberjacks, Annabelle Davis soon joined her. Sports reporter Ava Nichols has the story.
Mimi Bland joined NAU's tennis team from London, England. Bland is a two-time Big Sky Player of the Week.
I picked NAU because obviously the facilities are incredible, the scenery is amazing as well. I love the coaches, I love the team. The team have a great morale we've got going on right now. So yeah, it was definitely the right choice.
Bland and her doubles partner, Annabelle Davis, played with each other in England. The team won the British Junior National 18U Doubles Championship in 2018.
I definitely say it's a big advantage for us. Having played in the past, we know how each other play, we know that our game styles. I mean, for like a freshman to come in, it can be difficult at times. So having her know me, I think has really benefited her as well.
Davis says she is thankful for the support Mimi has offered her here.
As soon as I spoke to them, and I got my offer, I took it straight away because it was COVID when I signed, so I didn't get an official visit. But I already knew Mimi, so knowing that she liked it helped a lot.
The Lumberjacks are heading to Phoenix in 2 weeks for the Big Sky Conference Tournament. The team hopes to end the season on a high note.
We should have a good couple matches there and hopefully we'll come away with a big win.
Ava Nichols, NAZ Today.
Looking at basketball, the NBA is being dominated by the Phoenix Suns. The Suns currently sit first with a record of 64-18. The Suns are heading into their first round of playoffs, but are awaiting who their opponent will be. The Suns will either be playing the Clippers, who have a 42-40 record, or the Pelicans with 36-46.
Following a last-place finish in the Big Sky last season, the NAU men's basketball team has added 2 impact guards via the transfer portal in the University of South Dakota's Xavier Fuller and Grand Canyon's Liam Lloyd. I caught up with 2 of the newest Lumberjacks to discuss their decisions to join the program. Take a look. When University of South Dakota guard Xavier Fuller entered the transfer portal, he said he knew exactly where he wanted to go.
I wanted to come back home and be closer to home so my family can come see me play more and friends and stuff like that.
Transferring to NAU is a win-win for Fuller. Not only is he back in Arizona, he's reunited with head coach Shane Burkar, who was his high school head coach at Mesa.
It's kind of like a story, like you can't make this up, but you know, it's a blessing really to have, you know, the privilege to be coached by someone that, you know, you love being coached with in high school, and then, you know, you get to finish out your college career with this coach.
Another positive for Fuller was his new teammates, some of whom he was already familiar with.
I met the teammates, and you know, they were cool. I actually know a lot of them from you know, Arizona guys like Carson Tout. Me and him were pretty close, so it's a great environment, man. It honestly is.
And Fuller isn't the only new addition. Liam Lloyd, son of Arizona men's basketball head coach Tommy Lloyd, is transferring from Grand Canyon. In 2 seasons with the Antelopes, Lloyd scored 44 total points, averaging over 5.5 minutes in 30 games. When it came to choosing his new team, Lloyd said it came down to where he felt most wanted.
I wanted to go somewhere in my process where I feel like the coaching staff had the most belief in me. Like, I felt like Coach Burkar and his staff from the first day, like, believed in me 100%, and they were all in on me.
Lloyd will also have an added bonus as a Lumberjack. Because of the 2 schools scheduling deal, Lloyd may get the chance to play against his dad.
I don't know 100% on if the game will be played yet, but I mean, if I get to play my dad, I'm gonna, you know, take it on head on, and we're gonna try to get them. You know, we're gonna give them a run for their money.
Michael Manny, NAZ Today. The Arizona Diamondbacks are off to just a 2-4 start to the season, good for last in the National League West. Through 6 games, they're hitting just .140 as a team, last in the league. Their 2 wins, though, were about as dramatic as they could get. On opening night, the team rallied after being shut out through 8 innings, with Seth Beer hitting a walk-off home run on Wednesday. The team beat the defending AL champion Houston Astros in the bottom of the 10th inning, thanks to a Ketel Marte sacrifice fly. Arizona next heads to New York to take on the Mets.
Don't go anywhere. After the break, Brendan and Michael will host our debate. Stick around.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
And welcome back to the Overtime. I'm joined by sports reporter Brendan Martin. And Brendan, I think the talk of the sports world this week, Major League Baseball kicking off their season, Clayton Kershaw, the Los Angeles Dodgers Hall of Fame pitcher, 7 innings, just 80 pitches, very nearly could have had MLB's 24th perfect game. But Dave Roberts decided to pull his ace after, instead of letting him go all the way. I think we have some differing opinions on this. What are you thinking?
Michael, you cannot take Clayton Kershaw out of this game. 7 innings, 80 pitches, only 6 outs away from getting a perfect game. You cannot take him out of that game. It's too important to the game of baseball, and I think it's pretty egregious what Dave Roberts did.
But something I think you have to remember is that he's 34 years old. He hasn't pitched over 200 innings since 2015, 8 separate injured list trips since 2016, 2 separate times last year, elbow inflammation injuries. Are we sure the Dodgers are World Series or busts? It's only 2 innings, but are we sure we want to risk that when really he didn't even have half of a spring training to get ready?
Michael, you said it better than I could. He only had 2 more innings left. After pitching 80 pitches, I remember back in only a few years ago where it was pretty common you'd see pitchers go for a complete game 9-inning shutouts. This wasn't even a shutout, not even a no-hitter. It's the one thing Clayton Kershaw hasn't done in his career, and that's get a perfect game, and he, quite frankly, was robbed of doing that.
Yeah, it's about the most historic thing he could do unless he wanted to become a hitter and try to hit 400. But in normal circumstances, I'm with you. But just when he only had a quarter of a spring training, I don't know if I'm comfortable knowing that just his injury history, even just in the last year.
Well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. When we return, we'll have a reinstallment of our game show segment, the Overtime Buzzer Beater. Stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
And welcome back to the Overtime. It's that time of the year again. It's time on our innovation show to bring back one of our favorite segments here on the show, the Buzzer Beater. And it's time for the sequel. of our game show. And we welcome back our reporters, Kristen Chancellor and Brendan Martin. Brendan, I know you've been thinking pretty hard about your loss in our first edition of the Buzzer Beater last semester. Are you ready to redeem yourself?
Michael, this loss has been eating me up for too long now. I'm ready to take back the championship.
Well, let's see if you're able to do so. So we're going to start off with some Arizona sports questions here. The Diamondbacks' first season was in 1998. But in what year was Arizona officially awarded the team by Major League Baseball?
1995.
That's correct. Brendan, you're not off to a great start again. So Devin Booker is in the MVP conversation after his performance this season. Who was the last Phoenix Suns player to win NBA MVP?
Steve Nash.
That's correct.
Yeah, I knew that one.
We're tied. And when was the last time ASU was in the Rose Bowl?
1971.
Not quite. Not quite the right decade.
1988.
Nope, not quite that either. It was 1997. So who did the Suns lose to in the 1993 NBA Finals?
The Clippers.
No, not quite. The Clippers haven't been in the finals. Brendan?
I'm going to say the Bulls.
That was it. It was Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. When the Cardinals won their first playoff game in Arizona in 1998, it was their first playoff win in decades. Who did they beat in that game?
The Packers?
No, not quite. Kristen?
The Rams.
No, not quite that either. It was Troy Aikman and the Dallas Cowboys. And before it became Chase Field in 2005, what did the D-backs stadium used to be known as? Anybody? Nobody?
I think you got us stumped.
Okay, Bank One Ballpark. So I guess now, before we close out, we'll do a Flagstaff sports question. Archie Emerson had one of the perhaps the most historic single season in the history of NAU athletics in 1996, becoming the school's first and still only winner of the Walter Payton Award. Against Weber State, he set an FCS record for touchdowns in the game that still stands. How many did he score in that game, guys?
7.
That's it, Brendan.
You won.
All right, we'll move on to some more Flagstaff questions here. So baseball season in full swing here, of course. It's April. Who won Flagstaff and Coconino's most recent matchup in baseball?
Flag High.
That's it. Flag swept the series. Well, that's going to do it for our second edition of the Buzzer Beater here on the Overtime. Guys, I'll send it back to you on desk.
Coming up this weekend, NAU Tennis Alumni Weekend is happening where both men's and women's will host Portland State on Saturday.
And tune in next week for our last edition of the Overtime, our senior send-off show. Have a good night.